At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello, welcome. Here's what's coming up today on the program. Nigeria reopens land and air borders with Niger Republic, lifts sanctions as President Tinubu directed the lifting of further sanctions against the country with immediate effect. Plus, the World Trade Organization has inaugurated a $1.2 million program to improve the export standard of Nigeria's sesame and cowpea products. And finally, outside Nigeria, Britain's economy returned to growth at the start of 2024 ahead of an election expected this year, offering some relief to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak after it entered a shallow recession in the second half of 2023. Of this and many more are what to expect on the show today. I am Frank Omalape, and this is Business Week. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Let's begin with the major stories that made headlines in the week. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has ordered the lifting of all sanctions imposed on neighboring Niger following the coup there. Mr. Tinubu gave the order on Wednesday following a decision by ECOWAS leaders to lift all sanctions on Niger, Mali, and Guinea, three West African countries currently led by the coupists or military there. According to a statement by his spokesperson, Mr. Jorin Gelale, President Tinubu directed the opening of Nigeria's land and air borders with the Republic of Niger and lifting of other sanctions against the country with immediate effect. The president also reversed the suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between Nigeria and Niger, as well as freezing of all service transactions, including utility services and electricity to Niger Republic. Also in the week, the federal government has restated its commitment to continue to take measures to stabilize the economy. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edo, said this in Abuja at a podcast hosted by Burrot Custard in collaboration with Ballard Partners of USA. In the podcast, the minister said President Bola Tinubu inaugurated a macroeconomic reform aimed at stabilizing the economy. He said the country is in a state of macroeconomic reform geared towards stability of the economic environment. On foreign direct investment, Mr. Edu said efforts have been made to stabilize the environment for foreign and local investors. Elsewhere in the week, the Minister of Power, Mr. Adebayo Adelabo, says the federal government is addressing the power deficit by using alternative energy sources such as wind, solar, and mini-grids. The minister, represented by the Director of Procurement in the ministry, Mr. Abdul Rashid Lawal, in Abuja, the presentation of a proposed 30 megawatts wind, and solar hybrid project at Lekki, Lagos, said the government is aware of the present energy deficit in the country and that it is doing everything possible to address the issue by investing in alternative sources. On his part, the Chief Executive Officer of one of the bidding companies for the project, Mr. Bani Ojia, said they were in the ministry to make a presentation and to discuss how to further improve power supply for Nigerians. Away from there now, developing nations should look at biotechnology as an engine room for developing various sectors in the economy. This is according to the Director General of the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency while speaking in Abuja. Uloma Onyemachi reports.
Biotechnology is the utilization of biological processes to innovate new products and methods for advancing human health and well-being. A system which has been in existence since civilization has impacted various sectors, including its discovery of fermentation.
Executive Order 5.
At an expo organized by the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency under the aegis of the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, the Director General of the agency says biotechnology is a catalyst for change.
Biotechnology serves as catalyst for economic development by addressing national challenges, fostering innovation, promoting sustainability. And the strategic investment in biotechnology research, infrastructure, and human capital is essential
Biotechnology for the agricultural sector is even more in tandem for boosting national growth, as explained by the DG. He said Nigeria had an availability of cowpea for over a year due to the effectiveness of the improved yield variety that was introduced about 2 years ago.
We have already deployed this cowpea. Cowpea is very important as our food crop, and this cowpea, the farmers have been complaining almost every time about the insect. We don't have shortage of cowpea in this country. A lot of people doesn't know that this is a technology that has been employed. A lot of people doesn't know that this is what is given to the farmers that they are using to produce large quantity.
A concern of safety of biotechnology products was raised, and the agency clarified that research has caused them to apply safe practices in their activities.
In terms of safety, they are actually very safe because they are highly regulated. We have in Nigeria an agency that was established, to regulate GM, genetically modified crops, of course, and that's National Biosafety Management Agency. And they've been doing their work, diligently, and they ensure that we, the promoters of this technology, that's the National Biotech Research and Development Agency, we actually carry out responsible research.
The call is for government to continue to support new innovations that will drive economic development across Nigeria. Uloma Oyemachi, TVC News, Abuja.
Away from there now, following presidential directives regarding the return of seized food items to local market, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigeria Customs Service redirected 3 export-bound trucks destined for Benin Republic to Nigerian market. The trucks laden with hundreds of bags of beans, onions, and dried pepper were sold to Nigerians by their owners. TVC News correspondent Tiffany has more.
According to Area Controller Hussein Ejibono, the increasing interception of food trucks destined for neighboring countries through unauthorized routes is alarming. He highlighted that the recent presidential directive is part of the strategies to tackle food security challenges. Controller Ejibono explained how customs patrol officers intercepted trucks carrying grains and other food items bound for Benin Republic and redirected them to local markets for sale to Nigerians by the owners themselves.
The interception of export-bound 3 trucks headed to the Benin Republic laden with 880 bags of white beans, 584 bags of onions, and 18 bags of dry pepper at Ajilete Itiroko Road in Ogun State. Instead of seizing the food items, this unit ensured the trucks were redirected to the Nigerian market, where they were sold to Nigerians by the owners.
Furthermore, he shared the unit's anti-smuggling efforts, including the prevention of 11 exotic used vehicles worth over 200 million naira from being smuggled into the country. Other seized contraband items included cannabis sativa and second-hand clothing. Additionally, foreign parboiled rice concealed in petroleum jerrycans was uncovered.
Jerrycans where rice was kept. These are the jerrycans. Now you will see this. Look at, it's already been contaminated. It's already been contaminated. And somebody brought in this because of financial gain, because of the fact that he is already enmeshed in smuggling.
While we were on duty, checking vehicles randomly, we now stopped this vehicle that was carrying this very consignment. And the vehicle happened to be a commercial vehicle, fully loaded with passengers. So it was from there that we were checking, based on that intelligence report, that we saw some of these jerrycans under the seat of where passengers were sitting down and also in the boot.
The unit recorded a total of 93 seizures with a duty paid value of 751.1 million naira and arrested 9 suspects. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
And outside Nigeria now, the United States House of Representatives has passed a bill with broad bipartisan support that will force TikTok's Chinese owner to either sell popular video app or have it banned in the United States. The move escalates a showdown between Beijing and Washington over the control of a wide range of technologies that could affect national security, free speech, and the social media industry. The action comes despite TikTok's effort to mobilize its 170 million U.S. users against the measure and amid President Biden administration push to persuade lawmakers that Chinese ownership of the platform poses grave national security risk to the United States, including the ability to meddle in elections.
The way it's been rushed, and I also think the fact that we're not taking into consideration the amount of users is enormous. The other thing I'll say is we have yet to receive one piece of public evidence that actually shows that somehow China is actually negatively using our data. That has not been proven.
And finally, in the week ahead of an election expected this year, Britain's economy returned to growth at the start of 2024, offering some relief to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak after it entered a shallow recession in the second half of 2023. According to official data, gross domestic product surges by 0.2% month-on-month in January, boosted by a rebound in retailing and house building compared to a fall of 0.1% in December. Statistician at the Office of National Statistics, Ms. Liz McNaughton, says the economy picked up in January with strong growth in retail and wholesale as construction performed well enough, with house builders having a great month coming from a subdued previous year. Well, those were some of the biggest stories in Business Week. Coming up in a moment after this break, our focus is on the World Trade Organization's inauguration of a $1.2 million US program to improve export standards of Nigeria's agricultural produce. But that's our talking point in a moment. Please stay with us. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Let's get into our conversation for today. The World Trade Organization has taken a significant step towards enhancing Nigeria's export competitiveness by launching a $1.2 million program focused on improving the export standards of the country's sesame and cowpea products. This initiative comes at a crucial time when Nigerian agricultural exports face challenges of rejection in international markets, highlighting the urgent need for quality improvement and compliance with global safety standards. The Director General of WTO, Mrs. Ngozi Okoje-Iweala, emphasized that the primary goal of this program is to address the issues leading to product rejections, thereby boosting Nigeria's export reputation and market access. Let's get talking now. I'm joined by consumer goods and investment analyst at AROM Securities, Calista Chileke. He joins me virtually now. Thank you, Calista, for joining us. Of course, if you look at this figure, $1.2 million program is aimed at improving Nigeria's export standard and considering Nigeria's current economic landscape. How crucial is it for the government to leverage trade initiatives like these for sustainable economic growth?
I think it's very important, right? Nigeria, our economy currently, we are in their need, we're very needy for forex reserves, right? For foreign exchange reserves. So initiatives like these that hold the promise of improving our exports, particularly our agricultural exports, is a good way of getting FX reserves or foreign exchange into the country. Also, if you look at our economy, one can say that we are a mono-product economy, meaning that we depend solely on one product, and that is majority of our exports are from crude oil. So an initiative or a program like this is I think is a step in the right direction to diversifying the economy from exporting just crude oil to being very dependent on crude oil to also adding agricultural exports and food produce and food exports into the mix. And we might also see some foreign investment inflow into the agricultural sector. Well, that is if this whole initiative is properly implemented and other underlying issues within the agricultural sector is resolved. And this foreign investment could help to boost our economic growth, basically. So it's a very important thing. And it's a very important step forward.
Well, from an investment perspective, what potential opportunities do you see arising from the enhancement of export standard for particularly sesame seed and cowpea products in Nigeria, looking at their value and the growing market at the moment?
Well, yeah, there are some investment opportunities for foreign investors. Yeah, so with training, because the program promises to train farmers in this cocoa and sesame seeds. So with trainings of farmers and them producing more as a result of this training, we see some foreign investment in the country, particularly in the agricultural sector. But it's very important that we note that this foreign investment is very dependent on us being able to solve some other issues that are plaguing the sector, And I'm saying this that we'll see some foreign investment in the agriculture sector because now farmers will be doing the right things, packaging properly, following the sanitary rules, and everything else they were not doing right before. We might also see some this backward integration plan that many Nigerian manufacturing companies and consumer goods companies have been trying to put in place come into fruition, because now the resources that they need to produce their final product is readily and locally available for them. These are the opportunities that come with this program.
Well, why the major focus? I mean, the focus at the moment is on addressing the challenges of sesame and cowpea. I mean, of course, there have been conversations about exploring other Nigerian exportable products in the future. So let me ask you, what are some of the products we need to explore, bearing in mind that we have a lot of them in Nigeria?
I'm blessed with a lot of natural resources, but the issue is properly tapping into these resources and making something from them. So Nigeria is, I think, the second largest producer of sorghum after the United States, and that is an area that we can explore and try to make the most of. We also go back to exporting cocoa like we used to do in the past, and currently we rank fourth in the world, and this is the case for many other agri produce like granules, palm oil, and the likes. We have the resources, we have these things in our country, in our land, and it's for us to work on them and export them instead of letting them waste, because it's not as if our local food supply is at its best either. So we have to work on these products and export them and create value for ourselves.
Well, interesting insight there. But beyond the certification and meeting international standard, are there other factors that Nigerian producers need to consider to be truly competitive in the global market?
Well, first of all, it all boils down to just addressing the issues in our agricultural sector and ensuring quality food produce is actually being produced, if that makes any sense. First of all, this whole $1.2 million initiative came about as a result of the lack of quality of cocoa and sesame seeds that were being exported to other countries. They weren't meeting the required standards. So I believe that if there's a proper body to to supervise or to monitor the type of food produce that is being produced, I believe that yes, this would strengthen our competitiveness in the international markets. We could also try to improve our security, and which will encourage farmers. It's not enough to just train them or to certify them. They need to be encouraged to actually go to their workplaces, right? They need to be given incentives that you go to your workplace and you will not come back with one hand So they need to be incentivized with security, right? And they need to be encouraged that they are secure and they can go to the farm and work and actually produce food which will be exported later to international markets. Also arm them with infrastructure, proper tools, and storage and facilities to keep what they produce in stock for a while before they are finally exported. So all these things just they join hand in hand, accumulate to strengthening our competitiveness in the export market, really. So currently we are major net importers of food, and that's not supposed to be so, given our natural resources and the amount of food that we have at our disposal in the country. We should not be importing food at this stage that we are, but unfortunately that's the case. And I believe that I hope actually that with this initiative, we could actually move from net importers to net exporters.
I want us to quickly talk about the need to bring in Nigerian farmers, especially smallholder farmers. Sometimes they are the bridge in the supply gap, isn't it? How do we bring them in to create an inclusive market?
So when these farmers are properly trained and equipped, particularly in these cocoa and sesame seeds that they are focusing on at the moment, they will be able to export. And for them to export, they need to meet the requirements. That is the standard phytosanitary measures, the SPS requirement. And for them to export this cocoa and sesame seed, they need to meet this SPS requirement before these cocoa and sesame seeds are accepted by the countries that are importing from us. But at the moment, their products are not getting to their buyers, because of the products do not meet the required standards, right? And this is giving the Nigerian market a bad reputation. So this training would arm these farmers with the right knowledge on how to take their crops from plants to quality export products while meeting all the necessary requirements. And I believe that the training will also cover what I'll call pricing strategies that will help farmers to, fix the appropriate and the right price, and fix the right price at the export market. It's a big win for Nigerian farmers, really, and that's only if this is implemented properly.
All right, Kalisa, let's wrap it up with this. Nigeria's trade surplus dropped in 2023 by 99.7% as import hit about 16% high. That's according to a recent report by NBS. And looking ahead beyond this conversation, what other areas beyond certification should be addressed to further strengthen the competitiveness of Nigerian export produce in the international market?
Well, yeah, it should, because we've seen a lot of time our rice is mostly not from Nigeria. It mostly comes from neighboring countries, right? So when the borders were closed, we saw rice prices skyrocket. I believe that as with the border opening, this should at least put some respite on increasing food prices. But we should not also ignore the issues that are within the country, like that I mentioned, that is insecurity, storage, lack of proper storage facilities, and there's also rising transport prices. That is a major contributor. So we've seen that with the removal of PMS subsidies, since the removal of PMS subsidy, transport prices has skyrocketed, right? And that has fed into the prices of food, yeah. So food produce that is coming from the north down to the south, very, very expensive because of these transport prices. So all these logistic issues and everything all contribute to the rise in food prices. But yeah, I believe that with the opening of the border, yes, I believe that is maybe a short-term fix to this issue.
Well, I think a good place to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Kalista Chileke is a consumer goods and investment analyst. Thank you for coming on the program.
Yes, you're welcome.
You've been watching Business Week, coming to you from our studios here. Just before I let you go, let's tell you that the National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria recorded a 1.4 trillion naira trade deficit in the fourth quarter of last year. The NBS, in its document entitled Foreign Trade in Goods, fourth quarter 2023, said the country's total trade hit 26.8 trillion naira in the period under review. The report shows that Nigeria imported goods worth 14.1 trillion naira, while it exported 12.6 trillion naira goods. The Bureau said in the fourth quarter of 2023, Nigeria's total trade stood at 26.8 trillion naira, export at 12.19 trillion naira. And of course, we exported at a value of 12.69 trillion, while the import amounted to about 14.1 trillion naira. Total exports in the quarter under review increased by 22.68% when compared to the amount recorded in the third quarter of last year, as well as 99.6% compared to the corresponding quarter in 2022. I think that's our show this week. Thank you for your time. I am Frank Omalape. I'll see you next week.